Alrighty guys, if I look a little disheveled, it is because I just got off work an hour or so ago. But I am very excited to talk to you about this. One of the reasons why I've kind of put it off is because it's something that's very special to me, and because it was like a temporary thing and I wasn't really sure how to talk about it. But I'm going to try and talk to you about what it was like for me to be a Frozen version of a Bippity Boppity Boutique hostess, also known as a fairy godmother in training. Okay, so for those who are like, what the heck is a Frozen version? So I took part, while I was part-time, I took part in a temporary test of the Ice Palace Boutique, which was basically the Bippity Boppity Boutique only for Frozen on a much smaller scale. They had us open at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It was the first time me working at a park outside of Magic Kingdom, which was kind of scary for me. The test or temporary transfer was, I think, maybe 2 months. I vlogged a lot about it on my other channel, the Danny Diary, so if you want to find more about what the training was like and what the experience was like as being a part of Frozen Summer Fun, go check it out over there. But I'm going to kind of do like a very general, like what it was like being a boutique hostess or a fairy godmother in training, but mine was Fairy Frost Mother. Anyway, so like I said, if you don't know what all of this is, basically it's all the little girls who have like the super tight bun with a little tiara, and they're super pixie dusted, and they're wearing the super sparkly princess dress with a pink sash that says Bippity Boppity Boutique on it. That's pretty much what the Fairy Frost Mothers or the Fairy Godmothers in training do. Fidgets. Fidgets is what they call themselves. We're going to refer to them as fidgets now, because that's really easy to say. They basically do, I think they have like now they have, including the new Frozen hairstyles. They have about 4 hairstyles that they do, and they're very, very simple. But it's not just a hair salon. It is a whole experience that the parents are paying for. And it's so hard for me to describe this without like going into complete detail and going on a tangent, because I absolutely loved this role. Basically, as fairy godmothers, you are in training on making little princesses. Well, you're practicing on the little ones for the bigger ones. My story as a fairy frost mother was that Elsa had created us to make lots of little frozen princesses for her coronation, in honor of Coronation Day. And we did a simple Elsa braid, which was taking a blonde hairpiece and braiding it into their hair, or we took a brunette, reddish brown hair one and braided 2 braids for them. And it actually took place in it was the American Idol auditions rooms, and they completely did them over to look like Frozen rooms. They were so pretty, and then they played Frozen music in it, and it really felt like that whole area had been frozen over. Yeah, we also did a little kind of like mohawk thing for little boys, or if there was a little girl who wanted the Olaf hairstyle, we just basically braided her hair and then put like Mickey confetti in it, and pixie dusted it like crazy. It wasn't just a boutique. They also sold the Frozen crowns, the shoes, the dresses, skirts, little Olaf plushies, the wands, and then they had shirts and skirts. I think I had this listed twice, but like all Frozen stuff. And it was actually kind of funny because there was a point where we were the only ones that had Frozen dresses in the park. So that was kind of funny. What was cool about the Ice Palace Boutique though is we had something, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like Marshmallows Cafe basically. We had a huge marshmallow statue that was in I'm guessing it was the lounge area for the Frozen or the American Idol auditions. And it had coloring sheets for the little kids. It had all-you-can-eat snacks and drinks. It had alcohol for purchase. And then they had, you had to be able to access that, you had to buy a package. So basically you can get the girl and then I think it was 5 or 6 other guests into the cafe, and it was accessed for all day. So it was really cool for them to get to do, like on super hot days, they can go in and kind of cool down. But you also got reserved seating for the sing-along, so kind of like a fast pass in. You got special seating up close to the stage. And yeah, we always recommended it for people because basically you're paying, it was like $100 extra, but I don't want to go into it because it doesn't exist anymore, and I'll talk about that later. Some of my favorite moments, oh, mind you, this was a new thing, so I was on the opening team for all of this, and some of my favorite moments was Anna and Elsa and the historians would sometimes come into the boutique because it was attached to the sing-along as well. It was that whole little area. They would come in and surprise the girls when the show wasn't going on and kind of just talk to them, and it was so magical to get to see these little girls getting dressed up like Anna and Elsa would come to visit them, and oh, it was awesome. Anyway, moving on, we shared a break room with entertainment for the sing-along, so that was kind of cool to get to talk to the historians, and even the stage people would play card games with us on our breaks. It was fun. Part of the opening ceremony for us was we got to take an opening picture on the stage, and we got to do it with Anna and Elsa with the pretty Frozen backdrop, and a lot of people were excited to see Anna and Elsa and get to have this photo with them. I was excited about it because I never got to take part in the American Idol experience, and I wanted so badly to get to be on that stage and sing on that stage, and I never was. And so and this was a surprise, they like brought us into the stage and I was on it, and I knew what this was. To everyone else this was the Frozen sing-along, but to me this was the American Idol stage, and I just bawled my eyes out, and I was just like staring out to the audience, picturing what it would have been like to get to sing to all these people. And I had my own little magical moment there, and I will never forget that moment. Some of the cons. I was really upset about how the Ice Palace Boutique was treated because it was not marketed well at all. It had one Disney blog post and like one video online, and that was it. Nobody talked about it anywhere. It wasn't in any of the brochures or anything. And because of that, we weren't too busy. That and the reservation system actually kind of messed up. So whenever you tried to make a reservation, it would say that we were booked, when we only had 2 days out of that 2 whole months where we were actually fully booked. It was halfway through and then the very last day. Other than that, we were barely busy, which was really sad because this was something that people would have wanted to do. And the last one of the cons that I had, being a fairy frost mother, was there were two kind of. One, like whenever I had a girl who didn't speak English, it was kind of hard because you're supposed to do this story, like you're supposed to talk to them about becoming a princess, or like talk to them and like what are your experiences, or because you're supposed to focus on the girl. It's not about the family or little brother and sister running around. It's about the girl or about the boy if he's becoming Olaf or Prince. Focus on them. This is their moment. This is their experience. And sometimes there'll be times where like mom, dad, grandma, whatever, the family is just not into it. And they don't really want to have anything to do with this, or they think this little girl is very spoiled, and so it's very negative, or they were like very demanding of attention. There were times where like you had mom who's like a chatterbox, and yeah, I'll talk to you about the park and planning things and da 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 da. But then I'm giving you all of the attention, or the family all the attention. And it would be hard to kind of like center on the little girl. And there are ways around to do that. Just kind of like bringing it around, like what do you want to do, or what's your favorite, or just changing the subject or something. It's like, but you got to remember, you got like 20-30 minutes to make this girl's dream come true, and there's a lot of pressure with that. And especially since they're playing, it's not cheap for this either. But like, it was super, super fun. And I'm going to bring that into pros. Like, I absolutely loved doing the make-believe and storytelling. I got paid to talk about princesses and pixie dust little girls and dress them up and do their makeup and their nails, which I absolutely loved. I absolutely loved, even when I wasn't, making over a girl, I loved working at the podium, which is, you know, organizing, okay, this little girl's checked in, they're ready to go, you're gonna go to room number blah blah blah, because we had separate rooms, which at the time a boutique didn't have rooms yet, which I think the new Disney Springs one has it, has individual rooms. I loved like organizing, you're gonna go there, and kind of like coordinating in a sense. I loved organizing and doing that. I loved coming home covered in pixie dust. And my battery died, which never happens. And like, one thing that I absolutely loved is being a cast member. Like, the main reason why I love being a cast member, like being a cast member, not just because of the perks you get to go to Disney. That is one thing I absolutely love. The second thing is I love making those magical experiences for families and making people happy. I love making people happy. The amount of times I saw moms tearing up or having this huge smile on their face, or bringing that little girl all dressed up out to see her dad and her family, and they're just like, oh my gosh, you look like a princess. Like, that just like hits my heart. It just makes me feel so incredibly happy. That is why I wanted to be a cast member to begin with, is making the families feel special and unique, and making those little girls, like, making their dreams come true. Like, even if it's not a little girl's dream, every mom, or most moms anyway, want to see their little girl be a princess. At least I do, and I know my mom did, and I know a lot of other moms do. And there were just so many moms who would just sit there and watch me like storytelling with them and talking about this and trying to get them out of their shell. And there were moments, yeah, where you would have to kind of awkwardly do a little girl's hair while she's sitting on mom's lap, or, you know, like try to talk to a little girl who is extremely shy, not saying a word, you know, and having kind of that awkward conversation. But like, the moms and dads or families just sit there and they absolutely love it. There were even like siblings who would just be like, oh, she's getting all dolled up. Oh, that's so cute. Timer just went off. There's very few roles that you get to do that have that kind of instantaneous like reward, I guess. And like, there's, like I said, I always say there's a role for everybody. Like, sometimes merchandise does that for people, or sometimes, I don't know, custodial does that for people. You know, parade control does that for people. Like, everyone has like their thing where they're like, I get to do this and I feel rewarded for it. And that was like my dream, is getting to like talk to little girls, play dress up, play, you know, princess, you know, you're a princess, I'm a fairy, I'm gonna dress you up and make you look awesome, and let's talk about Ariel, or let's talk about Elsa, or whatever. And like, it was extremely hard. Again, if you watched my vlogs, it was extremely hard at our fairy farewell. Like, I was like bawling my eyes out because that was my dream job. Like, nothing has or will ever be as amazing. The launch bay got pretty close, which I'll talk about the launch bay in my next video, but nothing has ever gotten close to being a fairy frost mother or fairy godmother. And I know of several girls who were fairy frost mothers and now they're fidgets, they're fairy godmothers in training. And that's awesome, and I'm so incredibly jealous. Honestly, if I hadn't put in to open the launch bay, then most likely that's where I would be right now, as I would have been a fidget. But it wasn't God's plan, so who knows where I'm going next. Anyway, I'm gonna end this note on end this video on a positive note, that if you're a fairy godmother in training or becoming a fairy godmother in training, take it as a blessing, and know that even if it's not what you wanted, there are several people who are coveting what you want, or what you have, getting to be able to do that forever, however long. If you're seasonal, if you're part-time, or even if you're a CP getting to do it. And if you're a CP getting to do it, I'm very jealous of you. Actually, one of the girls who I work with at the Great Movie Ride, her first program, she was a fidget, and she was very jealous that she didn't get to go back to it, and I don't blame her. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. My mouth has decided to stop working, so I'm glad I'm ending this. yeah, next week, oh, not next week, next month is going to be about opening the Star Wars launch bay and why I'm not there anymore, sadly. But yeah, I hope you guys have a magical evening full of smiles and pixie dust. Bye!